Good morning, everyone. This is Robert Trimbath, CTO for AIO Integrations, and welcome back to In the Queue, episode 5 for 2024. This is our recorded series. We do one of these every other week in place of our live series that we do. Our next live one is on March the 5th. It's going to be covering how you can keep yourself safe from hackers using just everyday tricks and tips we're going to talk about. I got to learn how to speak today. But it's going to be very interesting because there's a lot of things you can do on a daily basis in order to keep yourself, your information, your family safe. And once you get these things turned into habit for you, just kind of automatically do them, it can keep your life a lot safer in a lot of ways. But we're going to be talking about that in that live episode. And today, though, we're going to be talking about what is IaaS. Now, that is an acronym for Infrastructure as a Service. That is a cloud product. You know us in the business of IT, we love to have acronyms for everything. This is an acronym for basically putting servers in the cloud or having your infrastructure instead of purchasing it, kind of renting it or leasing it. It's a little bit different way of looking at things. We're going to be talking about what it is, the advantages of it, and why you would use it. And so let's dive right into it for a second. And let's get started. Now, infrastructure as a service, and I'm going to bring up a dashboard here, and we're just going to kind of keep this up for a second. This is a dashboard into our cloud as a service product. It allows us to establish networks. It allows us to establish storage and also servers in the cloud. And this is our system of being able to do this. We establish this for clients, but I'm going to kind of show you really how cool this is. And then we're going to go about talking about why you would want to do it and what the advantages are. Okay. So I'm going to give you an instance. So let's say that me as a business, I've got 10 employees and I have a physical server in my office that I normally have to replace every 3 to 4 years. Okay. Just to make sure that it stays running and functional. It's called, good practice business cycle. So I'm going to usually end up spending anywhere from, $3,000 to $7,000 for a server to manage that. Then I got to pay somebody to manage that server, and I got to pay for backup service. And I've got all sorts of things that can happen that can take that service down. Like my internet goes out, or I have a network issue inside my building. Or somebody, let's say, for instance, I'm in a multi-tenant building, there's something that causes some damage to the building, and now I'm not able to get into the building. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but there's all sorts of things that can affect your ability to work off an on-premise server. So what's nice about this is because it's in the cloud, you're able to get to it from anywhere. So let's just say that I want to create a server that's much like my server for my business, if I had an on-prem one, which I don't. So we have a choice of 25 different data centers. I'm going to go ahead and pick the one in Texas. It's closest to me. I can choose to do a server OS from anything from Linux to Windows, and I'm going to choose Windows because that's what we use. I am going to choose the standard, and then we are going to turn around and put this in general allocation. So we can choose to have general, dedicated, burstable. Burstable means that it has on-demand resources. So basically, as my load gets larger, it actually allocates more resources. So my applications, my servers never get slow. Now, most people don't need that. That's for high availability applications, things like that. These last two, most people are going to be using general or dedicated. And honestly, about 90% of our applications we're using general. So I'm going to give this application a 2 CPUs. I'm going to give it now in the cloud, I don't need as much memory as I do on a physical machine. And there's a reason. Most physical machines are very underutilized. They utilize about 10 to 15% of what the server actually needs. So we're going to go ahead and put about 8 gigs on this. We're going to give it 80 gigs for the operating system, or let's give it 100 just to be safe. And then we're going to add, let's say we're going to add another 500 gigs of storage. So we have some local storage for our QuickBooks and any other files we have. Now, right now, that solution is going to cost me about $100 a month. Okay. Now I can take that and or about $110 a month. So I can take that, I can incorporate daily backup where snapshots are made every day. And now I don't have to buy a separate backup solution. Okay. And basically, that means that my system is being snapshotted every day in the cloud, and I can go back to that daily snapshot if something happens. So if I have an event that or a crash or something that takes my server down, I can instantly go back to my version from the last backup in minutes and put it back up. Very, very, very cool. And I can put this on my own private network, and I can also put a firewall in front of it, whatever I want to do. But my point is, so for about let's just say roughly $130 a month, I basically have a server that's in the cloud, and this is in a tier 3 data center. So we're going to talk about what that means. Okay. Tier 3 means that you are going to have the ability, okay? You are going to have the ability to basically be up 99, we call it the 5 nines, 99.999% of the time. That means you're going to be up that much. Nobody guarantees 100%, but the 5 nines is about as good as you get. A tier 3 data center means that you are going to have triple redundant internet connections. And I'm not talking about just gig. Most data centers are operating at 5 to 25 gigs per second on speeds, and they're triple redundant. So you're talking about very high speed bandwidth. You're talking about enterprise level infrastructure. All the storage we just showed you in this is all SSD storage. If you look at it here, we are talking about SSD storage. We are not talking about typical disks. And because this is operating on enterprise level hardware, this is going to be far better, far faster, far more reliable than anything you could buy yourself. You would spend upwards of double what you spend on a typical small business class server to replicate the environment these people have put together. It also means that this is in an air-conditioned, redundant environment. So in other words, not only do they have redundant power and redundant air conditioning and redundant backup power and the triple redundant internet, but they've also gone through compliance checks. So they are also PCI and HIPAA compliant data centers, which means that your data, these servers have already passed all those regulations by being in this data center. So you don't have to worry about those kind of compliance issues. Very, very cool. This gives you the ability to set those things up, though, and manage them. And you guys would have access to your own console to do this. This is just one way. You can do this through Azure. You can do it through AWS. Of course, those ways are much, much more expensive. But this enables you to put your server in the cloud for a very small amount of money. Know that it's backed up. Know that you have business continuity. Know that you have compliance taken care of, and that it will always be up. And let's talk about why that's advantageous for a minute, okay? Why that's advantageous is because you guys can have a variety of things that happen in your building. Let's talk about the fact that you eliminate all environmental issues that can affect your business. So let's say that you have, we're going to take, for instance, you're a doctor office and you've got a couple of offices, okay? Or it doesn't matter if you got 1, 2, 3. Let's worry about number of offices. Let's just say, for instance, that you have an office, and for some reason, hurricane, tornado, fire. If you're in a multi-tenant building, we had an incident where a couple of years ago where somebody 2 floors down put a piece of metal in a microwave, put a metal popcorn, one of those Jiffy Pop things, actually put that in a microwave and caused a fire. The fire didn't extend past the kitchen of that floor, but it caused smoke damage throughout a 4-story building, and they were on the 4th floor. The fire department closed that building down to access until it could be repaired and deemed safe. They were locked out of their offices for 6 months. 6 months. They had to pay us to relocate. This was a couple of years ago. Somebody who wasn't doing cloud and was paying us to manage their servers on site. We had to take and move that server to a data center. Well, I can tell you after that was done, they went cloud. We didn't have to convince them anymore of the value of cloud at that point. They don't have to worry about that. If your building could disappear and you could still access your server from anywhere. That's the beauty of how this works. Because it's in the cloud, you can access it from anywhere securely. It doesn't matter if you're home, in a hotel, your employees can access it from all sorts of different places securely. This puts a whole different turn and a whole different investment level on your business because now you don't have to worry about those things not being there. You don't have to worry about what happens when you're not there. It kind of takes a lot of that stuff out of the question, and puts a lot deeper peace of mind in your ability to conduct business on a day-to-day basis. This also gets you out of the hardware business. I have done so many cost justifications on the fact of how much money this saves you. If we put into the cost of buying the hardware, buying the server licenses, buying the backup, paying somebody like us to maintain it, and you factor all those things together, and then scale that out over the lifetime of the server, we actually will save you nearly 2/3 of the cost of owning your own server and putting in your place by doing cloud and having that peace of mind, and having not investing in the hardware, not having to buy the software, just this lease rent type of thing where it's there and you just pay for it as you go. What's nice about it is you need more storage. They can simply go in here and they can dial up your storage on demand. So let's say that we go down the road and we learn that 500 isn't enough. I now need a terabyte. Well, without even rebooting your server, we can turn around and bump that out to a terabyte. Now your bill goes up a little bit, goes up about, $30 a month, $35 a month, but I didn't have to go buy a hard drive. I didn't have to pay a guy to put it in. This was turned on instantly, and I instantly had what I needed to conduct business, and I didn't go offline for a minute. That is the beauty of cloud. So that is one of the things that really makes this an advantageous situation. The other thing is that you are able to take I'm going to talk about some financial advantage to this besides the fact of the money you're saving, is that this service is a service, which means it is 100% tax deductible. So no longer are you having to buy assets that your accountant has to amortize out over, either take it all in 1 year, amortize it out over 3 or whatever you're doing to, tax wise. 100% of these services to this cost is tax deductible as a service cost to your business. So now you've just taken something that was an asset and something you got taxed for and turned it into a tax deduction. So there's so many different ways that this helps your business. It's not even funny. Again, this is called IaaS, or infrastructure as a service. I strongly urge you that if you are doing an on-prem server still, that you look at the advantages. Yes, we can create what's called VPN connections between your offices and those servers, and even desktops, and make that secure to talk back and forth. They can be dedicated connections. We can use things like SD-WAN, which give you redundant connectivity to those connections to ensure through different providers to ensure you're always up. There's all sorts of things you can do. It's just spending the money in a different way and spending less of it in order to accomplish a more solid solution that doesn't require you investing and maintaining a bunch of hardware. So if you want to learn more about this, go to our website, click on this little thing right here. It says protect your business today with a free consultation. Just scroll down here. We're going to ask you for your information, know a little bit about your office. How can we help? This is a free input area. When you get to this area, just go ahead and put in, hey, I saw your stuff on cloud and we'd like to know more about infrastructure as a service. It's going to take you right into a schedule that will allow you to see our calendar in real time and set an appointment with us and talk to us at the next available opportunity when it's convenient for you. There's no commitment for this. It doesn't cost you anything, but I highly suggest that if you've never looked into this, that you look into it. It is really a way to go when it comes to spending less money and then being able to take advantage of the financial write-offs that it brings, not to mention the fact that it actually solves compliance issues, backup issues, and business continuity issues to ensure that you are staying in business. My name is Robert Trimbath, CTO for AIO Integrations. I want to thank you for joining us for today, and tune in. We will be back again on our next one, and we're going to be covering different topics every time, so we definitely want to make sure that you tune in. These segments are meant to be shorter, 10 to 15 minute segments, and then the live ones are really fun. If you've never been to a live one, our live ones are actually on every other week. Our next one is on March 5th. We do have a big national one we're doing as part of the Alignable Education series, which I encourage you to do. It is actually tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to talk about site security, the myth of antivirus, why it doesn't protect you against hackers. We're going to be taking you guys in on how you can get your business protected and insured for $1 million, like right away, for cybersecurity. So if this is something you've been battling, trying to qualify for financial protection on the cyber side for your business, we'll show you how to get past that and how to get covered in 24 hours. So tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for that. We look forward to seeing you there. We've got 100 registered for that already. We can take up to double that, so make sure you come. Our next In the Queue Live is on March 5th. We got a banner coming up here. We're going to be talking about ways you can keep yourself safe, you, your family, your data, habits you can incorporate into your daily life in order to keep yourself safe from hackers. All right. Thanks again for joining us. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.